It's just the mug. It's a Dave and Buster's mug.
Yeah, I bet. All right, so let me do this. I'm glad everyone was able to actually come out. I know it's all different time zones and whatnot. So let's see. Yeah. This. What are you doing over there, Nick?
Answering some DMs right now. Checking some charts.
Yeah, we're obviously trying to take some trades as well. Let's see. I'm just going to pull up this list of questions. This. All right.
I'm just going to record this real quick.
This.
All right. What you guys doing is absolutely gold, always valuable lesson learned. Yep, definitely. Gold is a interesting pair for sure. Very fundamentally influenced. And as we know, it shares an inverse relationship with DXY. And DXY has been making some moves today. Some volume has been coming into the market. We've been seeing some good movement.
Yeah, if you got any questions for Nick, feel free.
Yeah, guys, just
post them into the chat.
I'll answer every question you guys have.
Let's go.
Well, let's set up.
This. All right, cool.
I'm just tagging you in this. I just took a little picture.
What's up, Summer? You got the video going?
Hey, I can talk. I can hear you guys now.
All right, cool.
All right, perfect.
Nice. The members webinar going to be Thursday. Yeah, the members webinar is going to be Thursday. All right, cool. So we got this. You guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Nice to meet you guys.
All right, word.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
Can't wait for the fundamentals. Yeah, that's something to stick around for, guys. We're working on that pretty hard. You guys
are not wearing the league cap. Yeah, Nick refuses to wear branded clothing. I don't know what his deal is.
The one. All right, so the deal, I have to get. There's only like so many hats that fit me. It needs to be a flex fit, and the ones that we got are shallow.
He uses excuses. So
all right, I'll go get this. The biggest bully you've ever seen. I'll put it right up.
Yeah, he just refuses to wear the Forex League logo, even though he created it. We got caps over here, and this guy still doesn't wear. So
I got a big hat. I'm sorry. Those hats don't fit.
Yeah.
That's what happens over time.
We'll get him on a hat.
All right. Now that it's been said out loud, it's I got to make a move.
All right, let's take. Is it possible to swing? You could take the first one. So, is it possible to swing trade with $100 account?
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to take into consideration how big your stop loss is, and you have to find a risk setting that makes sense for how much you can handle. It's all about risk tolerance. So some people are comfortable risking 5%. Some people are comfortable risking 1% to 2%. It comes down to the person, but that monetary amount, $100, you can absolutely swing with.
Yeah, I will say this, if you're going to be swinging with a $100 account, at the end of the day, you're probably, if you want to stay within risk management, what we're going to preach over and over again here, within 5%, whatever, you're not going to be able to put more than a 0.01, on the account. So you're going to be moving with real small lot sizes, but at the same time, putting $100 of real money, say you've been demo trading or you've been back testing, you've been taking time off of entering real trades, and you're just trying to look at what your rules kind of are. If you're doing that and you want to obviously put it into a live scenario and start to see how your emotions are, you can start with $100, as $100 my deal deposit test the broker. Yeah, you use $100 test the broker, but just so I know some people have $100, like, realize this, you're learning how to trade. This isn't going to be the $100 to $1 million account. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is you took the step to get a course. Now you're in the course. You're testing. On those tests, there's one setup that you like to see on GU. You're confident that if you look at during that month in that trade, put $100 in and potentially see how you can carry out a live account for a little while. So is it possible to swing trade with 100? So yeah, I mean, you really just depends whatever lot size you want to use to stay within risk management. It's just going to be low. It's going to be low, but just focus on the pips. Don't focus as much on the money. So do you enter after the candle is closed or even before? You could start off with that.
So I always like to wait for candle closure, but also something to keep in mind here is which time frame you're on. So I'm not going to wait for a daily to close to then enter on. And I'm not even going to wait for a 4-hour to close to then enter on. Sure, I'll look at a closed 4-hour candle for a potential setup if I see a giant engulfing or something. But at that point, I'm going to drop to the 1 hour, and then I'll look for either 1 hour closure or 30-minute closure. But I won't, like, if a new candle opens and it looks like it's gonna be an engulfing, but it's only halfway through the candle formation, that's just, I'm not gonna enter, because then that would be an impulse trade for me. You're reacting on your emotions and then get into the market rather than trading based on what you see.
So a good example of this also is, do you enter after candle is closed? So going off of what Nick kind of said, if you're on the higher time frames and you see a bearish engulfing go down, so you're on a higher time frame and you recognize a setup, we're not going to enter on the closure per se on that 4-hour time frame of that candle. But at the same time, on the lower time frame, right, when we're looking at the 15-minute, say it's a 15-minute downtrend and you get a bullish engulfing that comes through, a level of resistance, that candle closes and it's a break of structure, it's a transition, then, you can enter on the close of that candle. So it all depends what time frame you're on. On the 4-hour, we might be on the 30-minute, and we're breaking down 30-minute structure. So on the 4-hour, you're technically entering before the candle is closing, but you're seeing the direction continue in a way that, the candles are forming and whatnot. That downtrend is continuing. You're seeing bearish engulfings or whatever. So lower time frames, you can enter on candle closures. Higher time frames, we want to break those candles down to lower time frames so we can always enter at the way that we teach, to enter.
The most, exactly. The most optimal spot.
So
precision is key, guys.
You have to after the candle. So what's the farthest you've ever been from home? Yeah, some people put some like random questions in here. What's the farthest you've ever been from home? So obviously part of Forex trading is we want to all be able to travel and, be able to really do what we want. I mean, the farthest I've been right now is I've been to Europe. I've been to Italy. I don't know about Nick.
I've been to the Caribbean a couple times. That's pretty much the furthest I've been. But it's not a bad destination either.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Nick talked about going to Japan or something.
Yep.
Maybe once or twice.
We're gonna make it around the world.
Yeah.
No doubt.
If any of y'all
Japan, we're trying to go everywhere.
Yeah, Italy is lovely. If any of y'all are international, feel free to tell us where you're at. This is my first time getting one-on-one advice. If this is your first time ever getting one-on-one advice, I would just say to, take it for what it is. You're getting feedback from real people. So obviously, whatever ideas you have, whatever questions you want to bring to the table, feel free to ask.
Yeah, take advantage of this situation. I mean, we'll host these webinars once a week, so you can always come on and get more of this one-on-one type advice.
That's for paid. Yeah, it's for premium membership. It's gonna be once a week. We'll do these free ones like once a month, just to we like to put together some questions.
Well, I mean the market blitz too, because there are some questions that we give out.
Yeah, we feel like throughout the month, everyone has questions, and we're doing our best to try to answer as many requests as possible.
Yeah.
Because on the Sunday market blitz, we try not to answer questions on there too much. We're trying more to just go through the analysis and get started with trading for the week.
Yeah.
So this is a real opportunity to get some more personalized answers here. So how does one apply risk management in an account with as little as $50? It's the same thing. I mean, the lot sizes aren't going to be able to go below 0.01 at the end of the day. So that's really the lowest you can risk. And if you're doing a 0.01 on 50 pip stop loss, that's like a $5, that you could lose.
Yeah.
And it's 3, 2, 1.
That's the only.
I would just say on the lower accounts, if they're that low, unless you're trying to do like a hit one trade and run strategy or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more just don't worry as much about the money. Just use the lowest lot size. And at this point, you're really just testing, being in the live market. Maybe you've never even used MT4 before and you're not comfortable with, entering and exiting and all that. I mean, I remember when I started, just using the platform. You got to get used to that as well, like where everything is. So yeah, if you're just, testing out the platform, your first live account, you can use $50. Risk management, it's going to be, zero point 0.01. That's really all you're going to be able to enter on that. Anything more, with leverage and stuff, like if we were to get into real math of it, but, say you calculate 0.05 times your stop loss, you could margin or blow your account like pretty quickly with $50.
Yeah,
so you want to.
That's kind of the biggest problem. That's one of the biggest drawdowns with a small account is the broker just limits you. You literally just can't place a lot size big enough for it to make that big of a difference. But you could also use it for the testing. Like back to question one, you could use $50 to then test the broker or to place one trade to see how the spreads are, or what have you. Obviously, the more you have, the more the more flexibility you'll have. I just focus on percentages. Okay,
good. Let's get on to the next question. So top 3 important rules as a trader, or top 3 important rules a trader should have in their rules book or trading plan. So I'm just going to pull up. We got the trading plan right here. Let's just get, let's get some right from here. I'll pull some, and then Nick can give you some too. Mm-hmm. But let's go with one that I like. It's do not let winners turn to losers. So I would say that's definitely one rule. So all that is make sure you have rules on how to maintain orders. Don't just take trades and then, once you're in profit, you don't know what to do. Like have clear rules. And getting into depth on more of that, like we talk with people about what to actually do, like on your back tests, and go back over and see where you could have made more profit by using a rule or whatever. So rule 1, don't let winners turn to losers. Nick, if you want to give a rule.
Right. Yeah, no, I would say, risk management, I live and die by 1 or 2%. Anything more is just going to inflict emotions, especially if you're an early trader.
Yeah.
So I would stick with that. Come up with a fixed risk, amount that you're good with, that you can tolerate, that's not going to put you in some bad mental state. You need to have a good positive outlook on the market and trading, and you need to associate it with, a consistent business, something that you're working towards over and over. And if you're using bad risk management, you could totally destroy that business.
So yeah, rule 2 is just going to be, we have in our trading plan, just do not risk over 5% per trade max.
Yep. It's a great rule.
That would be risk 2. And then risk 3, I would say, is treat trading like a business.
Yep. Because you're serious about it. So many people come into trading thinking like, oh, I'm just going to get rich. They're not taking it too seriously. A lot of people just see it more as gambling than anything else, when that's the completely wrong approach. You need to assess trading and approach trading like it's a real business. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. It is something that can be mastered and give you a huge income.
Yeah, and also by treat trading like a business, it's like, okay, find setups that are, your most confident, can be your most profitable. Journal your trades, don't just be testing in the live market setups and ideas that you haven't actually tested on a back test.
Right.
So when you're in the live market, you're following your rules. When you're on a back test, you're either trying new ideas or you're just reinforcing the ideas you already have. So just get organized. Basically, that's how we're trying to treat things like a business. It's don't just rely on I'm going to take $50 to $1 million, right?
Absolutely.
And I think as you continue to learn and continue to get more involved with a lot of the things to do with Forex trading, you start to understand what that actually means and the mindset behind that. So let's see how to perfectly use Fibonacci for entry. You wanna share your screen and go over that?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. You want to answer these questions first, or you want to answer them at the end?
We could. How you find the best system which suits your daily life? We could. You could go over that real quick.
All right. Well, there's another question here. What's the lowest price plan you guys are offering? Let's just go in order.
So lowest price plan is going to be for signals. We have $75 per month. That's just, you're just getting signals and premium analysis. The premium analysis, if you guys follow us, we post analysis in the Telegram, in the Discord. That's higher time frame. So basically that's going to be the 4 hour in the daily, looking at structure. Then in the signals, when you're starting to pay, you're going to get lower time frame analysis. So the 1 hour and 30 minute, and then you're obviously going to get entries. So that's the lowest. If you want the course too, it's 99 per month, course plus signals. And then if you want, you decide you either buy the 99 a month and you want to upgrade, or you just want to go for the lifetime. Right now we're doing a sale. It's $299 for lifetime. We're doing that right now. There's only 10 spots that we're letting people in on.
Currently 40%
With that,
off.
normally it's $499, so it's 40% off. Those are the plans right now, and then you could talk to how do you find the best system which suits your daily life.
So the answer is kind of in the questions. Like, how do you find the best system which suits your daily life? And the short answer is trial and error. You have to figure out which, like, are you more of a swing trader? Do you like holding trades for a longer period of time with a lower risk setting, so you're more calm while you're holding the trades, you don't have to worry about it as much? Or would you rather, hit the market and then get out? So that's more of a day trading, scalping strategy where you're watching the charts for a couple hours, finding a trade, setting, a take profit of 50 pips away or so, let's say. It just comes down to what you're comfortable with. So I encourage you to maybe test a shorter term strategy as well as a longer term strategy. I mean, you can use, from what you've learned from us, you can use our strategy to apply it on a lower time frame or a higher time frame. But what's going to work for you is going to vary from everybody else. But
yeah, it just comes down to getting onto the chart and starting to run through. Obviously, we're going to give you a style, the way that we look at things, and we're going to teach you a way to go from left to right and to look over what's going on. But at the end of the day, you have to start to recognize patterns that you're the most confident in.
Right.
We're not, I'm not going to see patterns that Nick sees all the time because I haven't maybe had more experience, like less experience than and whatnot. So you guys got to give yourself some experience. Y'all got to level up.
Yeah, you got to try some stuff out, see what works, what doesn't.
If you don't have a broker right now or nothing to even trade, I need a base, or is that what I'm – yeah, I mean, we're not a broker. We're not, we're just a community. We're a positive, community of traders. Me and Nick, like you, have gone through from beginners to learning how to trade to now being able to share our analysis and ideas and obviously work with other people. So the situation is you're just wanting to join a community of other people who are trading, who can get you from knowing nothing to the point where you have your own strategy, you're taking your own entries, and you have your own profit.
Right.
You switch overs. So we're going to go over some more of those at the end.
Okay, we'll get back to these questions for now, though.
So how to perfectly use Fibonacci for entry. You can, Nick will share an example on that, and then I'll go over one too.
Let me just share my screen here. Okay. So the question was how to find perfect, or how to use entries, I believe. So
how to use your Fibonacci to get perfect entries.
Okay, so there is no perfect trade. Let's just start with that. There's never going to be a perfect trade. There's always a chance that it's going to result in a loss, right? So to use fibs, we can find high probability trades, which just limits the amount of chance for a loss that we have. So we want to increase every possibility that the trade's going to be a winner. So we always use fibs with a trend. So this is a bearish trend here on the 1 hour, right? So I'm going to fib from point A to point B down to here. And then you're looking for, if you guys know our golden levels, we really want to find entries around the 38.2, which is this level here, 38.2, or the 61.8. These are our golden levels. Everything in between, it drops the certainty of the probability that the trade is going to go in your direction. So as we can see here, price came back up. It tested right at the 38.2 and then showed a giant engulfing. This would be a really good opportunity to enter on. That's what we like to see. We like to see a strong trend, a good push, a retest to a fib level, as well as some other confluence. We got the MAs here. We have broken support turn resistance, and then an engulfing. So it's multiple confluences. This is pretty much a textbook entry that I like to look for. And then closure through the MAs. And that's
and then also going off of the MAs, I mean, basically what's price doing here is it's showing enough bullish momentum to break above the moving averages in a downtrend. And then that's followed by this obviously huge rejection on the 4 hours. So that's showing that even though buyers took control in a seller's market, there was a ton of selling orders at that price. So like you said, we're not going to use, there's no perfect fib. These price reversal zones are just another confirmation that we're pretty much going to use here. But I would say the best levels are 38.2 and 61.8.
So
That's
look, so let's see what we have. So now this broke 0%, right? So it formed structure, hit 38.2, then pushed down. So we're redrawing the fibs. Point A to point B. Actually, it can go a little lower. And, it didn't quite close at the 61.8, but we're seeing some confluence in this area. Something similar to this. It pops above the MAs. We're getting rejection. It's testing broken support as resistance. And now, we're a couple confirmations off from another potential trade. A nice engulfing through the MAs after the 61.8 touch. That's just how we use fibs, just like this.
Yeah. So the perfect entry would be Fibonacci level. So a price reversal zone, which are, and we teach this, is 38.2, 618, 786, 886, right? Those are our price reversal zones. Those are our fib retracement levels. Now, a perfect entry on a fib would be that if at one of those levels there was secondary confirmation. So there was resistance, there's a trend line, right? Maybe there's the 200-day moving average that's there as well. Or ultimately there's a fib level and a bearish engulfing, right? A bearish engulfing or a bearish signal in this situation, that would be another confirmation. So perfect entry, perfect entries with fibs. There's multiple confirmations at a fib level.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it would be.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get that. Move on to the next question.
Let's go. Here, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
So let's go. How does reporting your income from Forex go, like concerning taxes? So basically with this one, it's actually reported very similar to capital gains, but we advise to just use, TurboTax, whatever, use an accountant, seek professional advice when it comes to your taxes. Everything, when it comes to MT4, you can export you export all of your transactions and you can upload that into TurboTax. And then within TurboTax, they will actually take your Excel sheet and make sense as to what the amounts are and stuff. So you kind of self-report it, and then TurboTax assists you with it. But I would also, if you just really are in the dark about it, you could potentially reach out to us, or if you Google sort of Forex trading, there's some articles out there that will help you with getting that sorted out when it comes to tax. I know tax season is coming up.
Yeah.
So let's go. How much can World War III affect NFP?
I think the better question is how much can World War III affect the market? Because it's not just NFP that you're going to have to worry about. It's going to be everything. It's going to be all trade with pretty much all economies are going to be changed. The value of currencies will be changed. Labor will be changed. Unemployment will be changed. Pretty much.
Yeah, let's talk about NFP, though, because that's actually an interesting question.
Okay.
So non-farm pay. So how do you think it would affect NFP? If we had World War III.
Well, it depends on the conditions of the war as well. Normally,
obviously, NFP. You want to just explain what NFP is?
Normally, wars stimulate an economy.
You want to just explain NFP for a second?
Okay. Non-farm payrolls. Why don't you just pull up the definition then? So
No. Let's not do that. I don't want to pull that. So non-farm payroll is basically just the amount of employment that isn't to do with agriculture. Right, so it's like the rates that have to do with the employment rates that don't have to do with agriculture. So, as every other industry is growing and adding jobs, if that comes out positive, obviously it's positive for the U.S. dollar. If that's negative, it's negative for the U.S. dollar. Right. So, basically, how that would affect maybe a World War III would affect NFP. I don't know if you would classify as the employment rate would be going up if they had to employ more people for war. I think maybe war would, in a sense, diminish the economy, for the most part, depending on foreign investment. But at the same time, maybe internally within the states, it would actually stimulate growth.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Normally,
we're in a completely different time, so it's hard to compare to the last World War when things were a lot less, technologically advanced than they are now. Obviously.
Well, that's if we look historically for a second. World War I, this was right after the Great Depression, and the war actually stimulated the economy. A lot of economists say that it actually saved the economy during that time. And the same thing happened with World War II. You've seen internal stimulation directly from wars, because wars are, it's sad to say, very profitable for a country. If they have the right resources. It's not a good thing for the world economy, but for some of the major players involved, it can definitely be more of a positive.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting question. But yeah, so let's go on to number 9, advice to beginner traders. I'm always going to come with very similar advice. Looking at myself when I first started, I know a lot of people are, I would say, one, don't waste time. I think a lot of people right now are taking their time with trying to get educated on like the background information on Forex. Like they're going through baby pips to get themselves familiar with a lot of the concepts and stuff like that. I would say don't spend too much time on that. And if anything, use that as like supplemental education to you investing in a form of technical analysis training. So you want to get yourself to where you're performing technical analysis, and at a high level, you want to be doing it where you're doing complete breakdowns yourself. You're able to run through a test where you can simulate entries and you can simulate your rules that you've created from ideas that you have. And to get to that point, obviously, you at first just need to learn the tools, like the tools that we're going to use for confirmations. And first, just looking at a chart, how to make sense of like market structure and not to be overwhelmed while you're on the chart.
Yeah.
So step 1 is, definitely utilize some free resources just to get you interested, but commit to, this is what I did. I mean, commit to a group, commit to some type of community where you can get around people who are at a better, more advanced level than you. This is like any other, careers. There's going to be some sort of internship involved, or you want to work, as an understudy to someone who's in the industry. So yeah, the advice would just be try to get closer to those that are ahead of you. Maybe at first not too far ahead, but that's why, a community that has a lot of different, beginners, intermediate, advanced, so you're able to network and able to benefit from what they know to shorten the learning curve you're really going to have. So that'd be my advice. Nick can get into advice.
So
yeah.
it goes directly with what Angelo said, but advice to a beginner, you want to just recognize that you are a beginner, that you do probably want to learn from somebody who is professional. That's why you don't have to go through every trial and tribulation, failing through things that you could have avoided if you had joined a community or, consulted somebody. You can learn on your own, but it's going to take much longer than if you were with a community or mentors that knew what they were doing. It's just like anything else. If you're going to go get tutored if you're trying to learn something, let's say you're trying to learn a new subject, let's say algebra or whatever, or a calculus. Let's say you want to learn something really tough in math. Would you learn it quicker if you learned on your own, or if you learned from the teacher who was actually teaching the calculus? It's very, very.
Whoever's annotating, I swear to God.
This guy.
Going off what Nick's saying too, though, it's like, would you rather just buy the textbook, and do the work by yourself on the textbook, or do you think being involved in the course or the curriculum, with accountability involved, is going to be more beneficial?
Yeah, no doubt. What point did I feel comfortable teaching others about trading?
Nick doesn't feel comfortable.
I've never. So no, like 4 years in, I felt pretty comfortable explaining my ideas about Forex and training, and I was just confident in everything I knew, and I knew I was profitable, so I was doing something right, clearly. Then once you do become profitable, you just get naturally comfortable with your own skill and in trading. And
I think also, though, you can, being like teaching, obviously you need a certain level of skill to be able to teach, but at the same time, what you should be focusing on is the first step is just sharing your analysis, sharing your ideas, right? Like getting on a chart and first of all, putting together an analysis for the week, that in its own right is a whole entire event, and starting to do that. And then from there, share that with other people. Once you're comfortable with just sharing a link with your ideas and you start to detach from that, then you can start to get more comfortable in that, okay, see how your trades play out, continue to just, really get better in your own right. And obviously being comfortable teaching just comes with anything, is putting yourself out there in an uncomfortable position and just getting better and just learning from your mistakes. But yeah, like Nick also said, become profitable, become confident that the setups that you're looking at and the style in which that you're trading makes sense. right? Like you can actually make sense of it. It's not just somehow this worked. You want a full rundown. So
Yeah.
that's number 9, how to start learning Forex. This goes hand in hand with number 9. So how to start learning Forex. I feel like a lot of people is on Instagram, right? Is finding different places on Instagram. We're just looking at posts at first. Like we did say, the main free resource is babypips.com. We feel as though there's limitations in just kind of going through the style that they teach, which is why we're about to put together a free or a beginner level course, right? That's going to be video format. That's going to pretty much have everything that there is to know just coming in. But obviously, how to start learning, get involved in a community. That's like the number one thing. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself.
Exactly.
And to tell yourself that in order for me to get to where I want to be, I have to put myself in the right situation.
100%. Because those opportunities exist, and you just need to, exactly what Angelo said, you need to put yourself in those situations, even if it gets you outside of your comfort zone, because that's how you grow. That's how you make real progress. You just got to, there's plenty of free resources as well as paid resources. And you honestly just have to commit and say, this is what I want to do. And this is what I'm going to go about learning it. And just got to start taking action. That's pretty much, yeah.
If you had to describe yourself as an animal, which one would it be?
All right, you go first.
I'm going first. I would describe myself as a
You want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right, let's go with it.
I'm thinking of what I would describe Nick as. I would describe Nick as like an owl.
All right, it's an owl. Yeah. No, as far as trading goes, you want to leave emotion out of it as much as possible. So, does anybody know the one animal that is completely fearless and emotionless?
What is that?
Jaguar. I'm gonna go with the jaguar.
You're gonna go with the jaguar?
I'm gonna go with.
That's a good one.
Right?
I'm gonna go with the elephant.
You knew it.
Elephant.
Elephant. Okay.
Very big in stature, but still smart.
Good. Yeah. Good memory.
Good memory. Yeah. True. At these things.
Hell yeah.
Best book you both have read, and tell us briefly about them. So, best book that I've read is The Magic of Thinking Big. So that book is, if you're sort of on the brink of this enlightenment, or you're like want to like have a different style of thinking, like you're thinking about making changes in your life and stuff like that, that book will have you like so moved. That book will have you so moved. It'll have you so like confident. It'll have you move in the right way. So The Magic of Thinking Big is definitely a book to be inspired by. What about you, Nick? You got any?
I only read trading books.
Yeah, I'll also give a trading book. I'll give you some trading books too.
That's really, Candlestick Bible is really good. Naked Forex actually changed my perspective on trading, so I'll say that one.
Okay, so I'll give a trading book. How'd you guys get the name? So I'll give a trading book for me would be The Playbook by Mike Bellafiore. My whole entire thinking process behind what we're trying to do with our students and ourselves around the homeworks and around building up your setups and screenshotting and journaling, even moving towards like keeping a daily journal and stuff, which I want to implement more, comes from The Playbook. It's a prop firm on Wall Street that is pretty popular, but he basically just gives a lot of tips on how to operate day-to-day professionally as a trader. And he also gives a realistic outline of how the timeline that they take to become professionals, like people that they train. And he says it takes like about 2 years for them to get to a point where they're pretty profitable within their company. And you guys have to realize that that's 2 years of working a full-time job, right? So that's 2 years of it being a 9-to-5 to them and potentially working a little bit over that. So they're putting in an incredible amount of work, and they're being held accountable, and they're consistently, testing against themselves, like what they know. Yeah. So that's why be patient. It's a blessing and a curse that you're not part of a 9-to-5 movement with this. You're on your own learning Forex here. So, that creates a crazy like opportunity for yourself to just have unlimited, do really what you want. But at the same time, if you're not going to be in that 9-to-5, you have to build, processes for yourself, daily habits for yourself, for you to sustain like your growth, for you to continue to get better. Right?
So let's
I'll look up.
Okay, I'll answer some of these other questions. How did you guys get the name Forex League and logo? Forex League, it kind of just took us a couple weeks of figuring out a potential name where we'd go back and forth sharing ideas, be like, oh, that one sucks, this one's good, that one sucks. And then eventually we just got to Forex League, and we both liked it.
Yeah. That's exactly how it was. Nick literally just because Nick at times can be more of the creative, director here, and he put a lot of ideas out there for what the name should be and stuff, and then we pretty much came to agreement. And then funny thing is, with the logo, that's on the wall right here. We had made this like amazing logo that we thought was sick, and it had all these cool things in it, and we were like so happy with it. And then literally the day before we were about to launch like the course, we realized that it sucked, or I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, it was. We saw it up on our profile, and we're like, we hate it. And we
were like, wow, this sucks. And then Nick literally put together Forex League logo, which I personally think this logo is sick, and I've gotten great feedback by it. And he put it together in like less than one day, and it was like a home run. So
yeah, it's so
little lesson in entrepreneurship there is don't sweat the small stuff, because you never know when you're actually making something that's really good without wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I liked it too, but I didn't think it was going to be. I mean, we love it now, but I didn't think it was.
We didn't think it was going to be iconic. We didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding.
We spent like 2.5 weeks coming up with that first logo. So
still recommend going to college once you master. What if you've mastered Forex? What I will say this is you've learned an important step in being entrepreneurial. You've developed processes within a market that you can be profitable in, and you repeat them and have success. That can be replicated in any other industry, whether it's service-based or digital, whatever. You can build processes for another business, and you should go that route, because at this point, you've pretty much surpassed the thinking of what a traditional college and like 9-to-5ers think is going by. They're just delivering. Their value is basically pitching into the service that someone else has built. You have the ability now to take what and for you to potentially become, have your own business, develop processes around having your own business, offering your own type of service. So I would just say continue to, instead of maybe going to college, I mean, college is good because college and any type of learning makes you think, right?
Yeah. Critical thinking skills.
Critical thinking. So I'm not going to say college is bad. I went to college. Nick went to college. College is definitely going to develop you intellectually to help you think. But at the same time, if you're successful in Forex, starting to make money from that, why not try to enter other businesses? Put yourself out there. Like, don't just sit in your house alone.
Exposure.
Like, get involved with other niches or other groups and do things that you like, and try to start to put yourself around other professionals so you can, whatever your goals may be, your goals may be different. So,
and to add just a quick thing to add to that college question is, I started learning trading in my sophomore year in college, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I was fully dedicated and committed to trading, but I was still in college. So I used that time frame to then learn trading, because you're already in that critical thinking mindset. You're in the environment of learning. I mean, it's college, you know what I mean? So it was like just picking up another class for me. And, I'd always have my computer on me. I'd always be looking at charts, whether I'm at school, studying in the library or something. It's just another thing that you can incorporate into your routine where you're already learning, So I actually think it complements college very well. And it worked out for us, It worked out.
No, I'll say this too. I've also heard this from other people as well, that they've talked about mastering Forex or learning Forex and then quitting their job and then struggling and saying how difficult it was during that time, especially if they have money saved up. Like Nick just said, leverage your life the way that it is. Like, don't, just because you now know Forex and maybe you made profit over 1 month, don't be, driven by ego to the point where you're going to think you're a completely different person. Like, be realistic as to what your life is at this point right now, and use that time. Maybe you might actually work more efficiently within that schedule that you have because of the way you've been to this point, like operating. Take small transitions into that more life of a full-time trader or full-time with your businesses or whatever. If you're still going to school, still try to maintain that schedule and just keep working hard. I like to say it like this: when it's time, it's time. When it's time, it's time, and you don't have to force it at all.
Exactly.
So when you're at that point, that's when you're going to be moving, and that's when you'll be, out on whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well said. What is the What's the first major purchase you guys made once you
We're
realized?
actually about to make a major purchase soon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hold off on that one. So we'll put that off for now. But I like analyzing, I like the logo. I can't see it on a polo. I would rock
You
it.
can see it on a polo and
Yeah, no, it's definitely we do have just sweatshirts and sweatpants and hats on the website that you can look. I have these like special hats that I'm shipping the members over here, that are pretty cool. So yeah, we're trying to. We realize the logo actually is very, very
people like it.
versatile. You know, we
Yeah,
can put
people
it in
like
a lot of different colors and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So what do we got for the next question? If you describe, animal.
If you yeah, let's go tips to grow a small account.
I think we answered part of this question in 1 and 4, but we could just cover it again.
Yeah, I think for my end, a tip to grow a small account, like Nick talks about, is risk management. If you're trying to grow a small account, if it's $100, maybe you're telling yourself that you're willing to lose that $100, right? And if you're willing to lose that $100, it all depends what your plan may be going into that, right? Maybe your plan is that you're going to take 4 trades with that $50 and you're trying to grow the account based on those 4 trades, and you're using, your rules are based on certain risk reward, and you're not your style is like swing, not scalp, right? So just put together a plan,
Yeah,
for that.
and if it is a small account, this means you have less opportunities to lose a trade and still sustain the account. So look for setups that you've recognized before, ones that are perfect in your mind, ones that are highly probable. So like if you always, and then focus on 1 or 2 pairs that you know really well, that you back test thoroughly. So like, let's say there's always this one setup that forms on Euro USD. It likes to hit the 61.8 and then show a big engulfing through the MAs. Just look for that setup. Look for setups that you have a good feeling about, that you feel confident about. And don't take too many risks, don't take unnecessary risks.
Yeah, a good exercise to do would be back test 2 months of a pair. Within that back test, find your profitable trades, screenshot what those entries are, what those entries look like, study those entries. And then when you get into the live market, when you're about to take a trade, use the replay tool, forward it into where you currently are. You should feel some sort of experience, like some sort of decision based on what you've already done. Like you should be able to recognize that, some sort of recognition. So that's just a little tip. Let's see, how do you balance college and training life? I would just say that you just have to get ahead. You can't work from behind. You got to wake up earlier. You got to form some sort of habit schedule.
Yeah.
And
do a routine, something that,
you got to give yourself a chance to get things done without putting yourself in a state of anxiety and, whatever. Like you got to get yourself ahead. Can't see them.
So what is the perfect time frame to use fibs?
What is the perfect time to use fibs? Let's go back to the trading plan one more time. Let's take a look. There's a good way to break this down just as a beginner and as you're starting to learn. And pretty much what it comes down to for our technical analysis, we're going to use the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. So we're going to be using our fibs mainly on those time frames, mainly on the higher time frames. We're looking for pullbacks. We're judging pullbacks on those time frames, and we want to try to keep our charts as clean as possible.
Yeah. Now this doesn't mean that fibs don't work on higher time frames, but we'll use fibs in conjunction with entries. So you're not going to enter on a daily. You want to find the most recent trend in price action, under the 4 hour. That's going to make sense for your entry, and something that you can consider a significant indicator for, confluence when you're ready to take that trade.
Yeah.
A daily fib it's good, but it's not, I'd rather use it on the 4 hour or 1 hour for an entry.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next one, entry technique. So we could go over like what me and Nick sort of talk about with like entry techniques is the main one that we're pretty much just using here. And if we just go over just an example real quick, say we're on the daily time frame right here, and say right here hypothetically we find this is an evening star, right? So I got my daily set up. Potentially there's confirmations here, moving average cross, potentially resistance, whatever. I'm bumping down to the 1 hour now. So I'm seeing this, this was this break. We had break of support here, break of support down to here. So we're breaking levels, then we're having this retest all the way up to this high point, right up to this daily high. Now, what would we potentially do for entry here? And this is what we're teaching. We're not going to enter just based on some sort of engulfing, all the way at this high here. A good thing that we like to use is we like to just use the moving averages. So the moving average crosses, what they're really telling us is like right here, for example, we've got a moving average cross. So this moving average cross is just telling us that on the lower time frame, we're seeing this exhaustion here. On the lower time frame, this is actually starting to transition and to break structure. So if we bump down to the 15-minute, it's just showing us that there's breaks of support. These might be minor, but on the 1 hour, that's just showing us momentum. So we've got moving average cross, we've got the bearish engulfings through here. More ideally, though, we're looking for some sort of entry like this, or to the right of this, right here, we've got a good one because we have falling through the moving averages. We've got a bearish engulfing, coming right through all of this. We're breaking below here. We're at the
first lower high.
So a good entry technique that we just like to use, and we're using the daily and then going down, and then just within this 1 hour, we're just breaking down some structure. Let's even bump up 4 hour. Just recognize structure. We got a low, lower high, a low, lower high. We're retesting that lower high. This was actually a trade that was put out, and basically what I saw was on this higher time frame structure, 4 hour engulfing right there, and then we bump down to the 30-minute, and then our entry rules is just bearish engulfing variation through the moving averages. So kind of what I just went over right there. So that would be one potential entry there, and then we would be looking here. But here, I mean, we're not getting any sort of price action that we're looking for. So yeah, just one entry technique, use the moving averages. Definitely.
That was a good entry. A little double top, engulfing, MA cross, lower high. A lot of confirmations there, for sure.
Oh yeah. So that is going to be one of the entry techniques. There's all different ones. There's breakout. You do breakouts. Breakout techniques based on small transitions, and then wait for pullbacks, and like we're doing here, wait for engulfings. Or you can set limits. Like I don't personally set any limits.
No, me either.
What is the best time frames to use? What is the best amount to start with? So this is a good one to end on. Pretty much what is the best time frames to use? It all depends. Again, I'm going to go to this trading plan. It all depends what you're looking to do.
Right.
I
mean, if you're doing a fresh chart, you want to start on the highest time frame. You're going to
I'm going to go through real quick for each time frame, like the monthly and weekly. We're not using our technical analysis. You know what I'm saying? We're using key levels. We're using the moving averages. We're using overall structure, just getting our sentiment down. Then the daily 4 hour, 1 hour, we're using our technical analysis. So it's more of what tools are the best to use on which time frames.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, weekly, monthly, we're looking for those support and resistance levels, any key levels, psychological levels as well. We'll drop down to the daily. We'll start identifying trends, levels within that daily time frame, and then we'll drop down to the 4 hour, start identifying fib levels, how far away we are from the support and resistance on the higher time frames, if this 4 hour trend is supporting the overall sentiment, and then we'll drop down to the daily, the 1 hour, and then start using the MAs a little more, looking for entries, using the fibs again, and just following structure. So again, it does come down to which tools should you be using on various time frames.
It's only been a month. So it's only been a month for you. So that's good that you at least recognize, the tools that you're using. Doesn't necessarily use other indicators. The only indicator we use is the moving averages. So, and then if the EMA is the exponential moving average, the MA is the moving average. Nick, maybe you can talk more to that.
The moving average is a little more smooth than the EMA, which means that it's less susceptible to fake outs. And then the EMA would technically be more susceptible to a fake out. But using them together, it's very easy to spot the trend change or an early transition. So that's why we'll use two, because when they do cross, one smoother, one reacts more to price action, it'll give you a pretty good idea of what the trend is telling you, you know, and where price action's going.
Mm-hmm. And then what is the best amount to start with? The best amount to start with is pretty much just an amount that we say that you're willing to lose, but not necessarily that. It's more what do you want to invest in your business, in your trading business? What amount do you want to try to get started with to really get this thing going and to start to
amount are you not going to miss either?
You know, look at it as capital needed to start. You know, if you're starting another business, you're gonna have to buy inventory, you're gonna have to buy trainings and other things, hire people. You know, right here, what is the best amount that you can learn from, and for what your goals are, where you can move from, but have it be within, you know, a budget again that you're living within in your real life. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So this goes actually hand in hand when you're practicing on a demo as well. You kind of want your demo account to be similar in size to what you're willing to go live with when you are ready. So whether that be $1,000 or 500, you want that demo to be pretty close in that size. So you're familiar with the psychology that's involved with dropping that particular lot size that you've been used to, the risk settings, and pretty much just the strategy that you're using overall. You know, you just want to be as simulated as possible for when you do go live. And of course, when you do go live, let's say you do put $1,000 in, hopefully that's not your last $1,000, but rather $1,000 that you're willing to, you know, invest in yourself with and, you know, develop this skill. And then over time,
I mean, look at, it's the price of tuition. I mean, this is something that is an acquired skill. In order to acquire the experience, you need to enter into the game and actually play. But at the same time, you know, we need to utilize demo accounts for what they are. They give us a great opportunity to learn. So don't be afraid. You know, I feel like at first, especially depending on the community you join, you know, we talk a lot about avoiding demo accounts and only trading on live accounts and stuff like that. I mean, that's just simply not the truth right here. So yeah, don't be afraid to trade on demo. So we're just going to go over real quick. Obviously, we've talked about, you know, went over our list of questions, which was good, but just getting involved in what are we actually bringing to the table with the course? What are you pretty much going to get when you sign up? And again, this is for anyone that's a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. We want to work with any of you, and we're trying to put it all together. So how it's going to work, we're trying to be as personal as possible. We're trying to do the one-on-ones. So when you sign up, we're pretty much going to do a call. If you're not comfortable doing a call, that's fine. You know, everything's going to be here for you to do, for you to kind of go through, and pretty much to get set up with. So first is going to be either doing a call or just watching the video on how to get started get into all of our apps. So basically like to get in Signals and our premium membership group. Then week one, like I said, is going to be an introduction into similar topics to what Baby Pips has, whatever. It's just like a baseline knowledge of what Forex is, you know, when to trade. And then we're going to get into applications. So what apps you need to download, how to deposit in your broker, what broker to choose, how to get set up with TradingView, you know, basically all that. And then, because I know there's a lot of questions around that, getting set up with a broker, you know, if you're international, what brokers should you use and stuff like that. So we're going to try our best to answer those questions for you. Then week three, you know, get into technical analysis. So you need to know what the confirmations are. Again, even for members, maybe you're on this call, you know, this is what we talk about. We want you to first understand market structure. Then we'll get into key levels, drawing those, trend lines, supply and demand zones, Fibonacci. And then to put it all together for the first week is going to be time frame correlation. So how to actually look at different time frames and see how the candles break down and just be able to make sense of that. Again, each example, like each video is going to be followed with a quiz. So we're going to have a quiz just on the concepts, and then we're going to have a quiz on like some scenarios actually in the market. So this is huge. Personally, I think this style of learning is quite effective, and you can go through this multiple times and still feel like pretty engaged in it. So yeah, this is This is the way that each lesson is going to be broken down into. And then we're going to get into homework when you're done with the first week. Homework, I looked at this as the biggest thing. Homework is how you actually learn how to get on a chart and start to practically learn like what we're teaching you. That's when you can start to schedule your first one-on-ones. You can schedule a call if you have questions. The webinars, I go over how to do the homework too. We go over that. So that's going to be big, getting started with that. Then you'll get our trading plan. You'll get our trading journal. At this point, you're preparing to start to get on the charts. Week 4 is going to be, some of the best topics that you're going to learn about. Top-down analysis, entry zones. We went over a little bit. Entries, risk management, maintaining orders, and then week 4, homework again. So at this point, you're going to be deep into the technical analysis, learning about what we're doing and how we're basically creating all these analyses that we share that looks very, very easy. It's not, there's a lot that goes into it, but we organize it in a way where you guys are going to get to what we're doing. It's going to take some work, but that's okay. And then week 5 is going to be, again, just very advanced, getting into back testing. So we talk about that a lot. We're going to explain how to actually do that. And then Nick goes into index analysis. So he uses that as a big part of his strategy. So that's like a big video that's definitely in the course. And then fundamentals is, we have some on fundamentals. There's a lot more going to be coming. Week 5 homework, one-on-ones again. And then we got psychology training, which Nick could talk to a little bit about.
That's a fun one. So psychology training, we've actually developed a whole audio section for this. And actually, can you scroll to it so I can see it? Yeah, so we'll cover it. Like you can see, there's 5 minutes long. It's an audio file. And then we talk about fear and a little question and a little quiz. These are definitely unique. I haven't really seen anybody use this, but you guys get to hear our voices, what we think on the topic, how we approach fear, how we approach greed, different trading styles that affect personality, things not to do, how to prep yourself so that you are in a good mindset when you finally come to trading. So like you can see the demo account, it's 3 minutes for that, how to develop a trading plan and what's involved with that and how it helps your psychology in trading, the importance of journaling as well, how to form proper daily habits, and goal setting, because goal setting is huge as well. It goes directly with your plan. If you're not building towards a goal or something, you're kind of winging it. You need to have pretty clearly defined plan and goal, and that all adds to a positive outlook for the market, which reinforces your mindset and your trading psychology.
And we definitely got to get you a Forex League branded hat, bro.
All right. You know what? Hold on.
Now, we've got also the library. So we got over 15 books in here. These are all books that I've looked at before myself, or that Nick has looked at throughout the course of learning. This is something that's slept on that people don't even know that we have, but that's definitely big. And then obviously probably the most important sections are the weekly trade reviews and the webinars. So the webinars we do during the week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursdays. We'll pretty much ask what the best time is for members based on their schedules or based on their time zone. We'll do those. Obviously, we're doing this free one for you guys. But the members' webinars will be a little bit different. I'm going to pretty much pull up a homework assignment if we don't have members that are actively asking questions, and I'll go over the assignment, how to do it, and give examples, which is definitely important. And then the weekly trade reviews, those are going to be from the signals. I'm going to go over at least one trade during the week that was pretty much our best trade that we gave out. So those are big too. And then the Forex League wallpaper, so you guys can just get some wallpaper stuff. So that's pretty much the course. There's a lot here, but at the same time, there's more. The one-on-ones, there was a question about timing. Me and Nick, we trade ourselves, and with running this community, and we found obstacles with trying to, it's a lot. So how it works is during the week, pretty much like Monday through Thursday, I believe, we open up around 4 hours per night. It's like from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. or something like that, where you can schedule the call, and I'll post a link into our like private members chat where you'll actually be able to do that and to schedule the call, and then we'll just host it on Zoom, so it'll just be on here. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull up the list one more time. These are all the questions that we went over. This is completely recorded. If any of y'all want to get in on this discount that's going on right now, I believe we have like 8 spots left or whatever. It's $299. Again, 40% off. Again, right now, is a good time to get started because pretty much, we're already at this point halfway through the first month of 2020. Whatever goals you have, they're not going to accomplish themselves. We got to get to work. Just like we're putting in as much work as we can pretty much every day to members. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming out, to this webinar. We got Nick wearing the hat. That's definitely a positive. We'll make sure we're all branded up for the next one. But if you guys, any of y'all are watching this and you're in the area, you're in Jersey or you're in this tri-state area and you want to come visit us, you can come down to the office, pretty much just hit us up and we'll make ourselves available. We'll get you up with some trading plan, some gear. You guys can just check it out and you can see, kind of what we're doing over here and how this is like a special thing going on. And we want you guys definitely to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, thank you guys all for staying in here. I know most of you did. We still got 20 people. Looking great. Thanks for interacting, guys. This was a great webinar. I think we answered a lot of questions and provided as much value as we could.
Oh yeah. So this will be recorded. I'll drop it in the chat. And if any of you want to, get in on the course, just message us after this. Or if you want to just chat, have other questions, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. So thank you guys. Have a great trading week. See you around.
Peace out.